Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 22. And today I'm going to be showing you how to tackle Mugello with Franco Morbidelli as part of the MotoGP Academy mode. So on the back straight of Mugello, then going down the straight, we're going to be getting to San Donato in just a moment's time. So braking nice and early here, well before you reach to the first rumble strip there. Nice and easy on the brakes, went a little bit wide earlier on the Ghost. But this time we're going to go to the right hand side, bring it in, and then gently manoeuvre the motorcycle over to the left hand side. You want to try and go for a tighter apex there. This time around I didn't manage to get it right, but good acceleration out of Poggio Secco, but not too strong, otherwise you will begin to wheelie. So once again, charging down the straight, braking well before you reach the rumble strip. Any later than that and you're probably not going to make it into San Donato. So keeping it in nice and tight, gentle on the acceleration in second gear. Going to slowly lean over to the left hand side, a little bit tight as the apex there. You see how much time we managed to regain compared to the previous lap? Much improved. Careful on the rumble strip because it can be very bouncy there, but be careful with the acceleration as well. So once again, back straight down into turn one, braking a little bit later this time around, but thankfully did manage to claw it back. But you will see a little bit out of shape, so proving that it's best to brake nice and early there for San Donato rather than later. Change the direction into Poggio Secco, keep it in, try and avoid the rumble strip if you can, because you do find it'll start to buck and weave and start to wheelie. So now into Sector 2, we're going to be trying to tackle Materassi, keeping it nice and tight, and then for the change of direction, tight again for the Borgo San Lorenzo corner. A lot of apexes here in Mugello that you need to be aiming for, otherwise you're probably going to have a tough time up on the exit of that particular corner. Change of direction there for Savelli is imperative to get right, but if you do feel like you're going to run it a little bit deep, use a bit of trail brake just to reduce the understeer. But once again, into Materassi, to the left-hand side, change of direction, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. A little bit too tight this time around, but we're alright, as long as we stay within the track limits. Keeping a nice early braking time there for Casanova. Change direction for Savelli, running a little bit deep, so I'm just going to use a bit of brake on the previous Ghost, but this time around, we're alright, and we just tackle it in the corner. So once more into Materassi for the left hand side, nice and early on the brakes, using the rumble strip as a guide on when to start braking. Line up the motorcycle there, not going on the rumble strip, braking really early for the rumble strip for the left hand side, keep it in nice and tight to Casanova, change of direction, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in, and then bring on the acceleration smoothly and not abruptly. So we now go into Sector 3, following on from the position we were just in. Lean it a little bit wider here to Arrabbiata 1 and then bring it in nice and tight. You can use just a small amount of trail brake to reduce the understeer again, but honestly for that particular part I would really be focusing on smooth acceleration. If you're going full acceleration for Arrabbiata 1 and 2, you're going to have a tough time, so just balance the throttle as you go into those corners. But now into Corantaio, go for the middle of the apex or towards the tightest part of the apex and keep it in as much as you can, and then get ready for Biondetti 1 and 2. So once again, change the direction, keep it into Arrabbiata 1, follow the racing line, move it a little bit wide towards the rumble strip and then bring it in with a little bit of trail braking just to reduce the apex. And as you can see, didn't reduce it enough there, didn't reduce the understeer, didn't get close enough to the apex, and made a massive moment, which is then forced us wide into Scarperia, which then forced us wide into the next couple of corners into Pelagio, for example. But into Corantaio again, I'm going to keep it in roughly to the middle and then close the apex as we get to the right hand side. Close it as much as possible to stay on this right hand side and then launch it to the left, so then you can prepare yourself for Biondetti 1 and 2. So coming into Arrabbiata 1, leaning a little bit wider, bring it in nice and tight, keep it in nice and tight as for the tighter part of the circuit there, but thankfully didn't go too far and start bumping on the rumble strip, but making a mess of Scarperia is also a very difficult corner. You've got to be braking nice and early and gentle. If you're going to be slamming on the anchors there in a downhill braking zone, you're going to have a very bad time, so just be very careful in that particular corner. But now into Corantaio for turn 12, keeping in nice and tight. We're then going to change the direction for Biondetti 1 and 2. So I'm going to start from here so you can see Biondetti 1 and 2. So right, here we go, Corantaio into the left hand side, keep it into the middle of the circuit, change of direction, nice and early. Did cut the corner ever so slightly there, but thankfully the game says it's okay. But I cannot stress to you enough how early you need to turn the motorcycle. It's much earlier than you're thinking if you've been playing a car game. If you've been playing loads of car racing games, then turn in way earlier. But if not, and you're used to the bikes by now, turn in when it feels natural, as if you would begin to lean in as a real rider. So into Correntaio, change direction then for Biondetti 1 and 2. Got to get that perfect apex for both of them there to really hit it properly. If you're going to be wide into the first corner, it's going to scupper your chances for the next corner of Biondetti 2. And if you go too early in the next one, you could go too tight and then end up cutting the corner, and worse, maybe even crashing. So we're going to try Sector 4 one more time. It's going to be from Correntaio into Biondetti with the changes of directions. So nice and tight to the apex and bring it in a little too tight there. That's what I was referring to earlier by turning too early. If you turn in too early, you get onto the rumble strip, you cause yourself a bit of a moment, and you can't seem to get it right. But into Bacchini, I find that the braking marker in this one is entirely up to you. You can either go for a really tight apex, or you can run it deep and then bring on the power. Both sort of work, but we'll have a look at that in a moment's time when it's part of the complete lap. So into turn 1, reiterate once more, braking well before the rumble strip on the left hand side there. Keep it in nice and tight, or towards the middle of the circuit of San Donato, and just keep it in, close the gap here, and then bring it in to the left hand side for a really tight apex to Luco. Almost too tight there by getting on the rumble strip. If you're almost on the rumble strip, that means you're close enough. Don't go any more closer to the rumble strip. But now braking at the beginning of the rumble strip for the right hand side there for Materassi. Change of direction, keeping it in nice and tight for Borgo San Lorenzo. Bring on the power, but gently, because you don't want to force a wheelie coming out of Borgo San Lorenzo. But now into Casanova, little change of direction here, keeping it to the left hand side. Did feel like I was going to run on a little bit wide there, so I brought on the brakes just to slow the motorcycle down. It wasn't a strong pull, it was just a gradual press. And now into Arrabbiata 1 and 2, keep it in nice and tight once again. Gentle on the front brake, but running it a little bit too deep just before we get to Scarpa. Braking well before the rumble strip there, braking roughly where the sort of grass separated the rumble strips, and now to the left hand side for Pelagio, running it a little bit too deep there. Got to be very careful with the rumble strips in both MotoGP 22 and in Mugello. But running it wider into Correntaio to then close the apex, more of a wider sweeping line with the Amar this time around as we go tight to the apex of Biondetti 1. Change of direction, had to use a little bit of brake there because I did go a little bit too tight to the apex on the previous corner and turned in a little bit too early. But if you do find yourself doing that and you think you're not going to get it right, use a little bit of front brake and maybe even a short press of the rear brake just to slow the motorcycle down enough so you don't run it in too deep. So cutting across the pit lane entry into there like the real MotoGP riders do, we have completed the first lap, or the first goal lap, so we'll do it again just to reiterate a few points. Braking nice and early for San Donato. I think we've got that one more or less nailed. If you're having more issues with that one, let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, I'm more than happy to oblige with some assistance. But we now go into Luco. Not as tight this time around because we didn't actually cut the onto the apex of the corner, but we did look pretty good coming into Luco. Small wheelie there, but it's not a problem as we now brake into Materassi for turn 4. A little bit deep there for my liking, and as you can see, it did compromise my speed going into Borgo San Lorenzo, so there are little things you do need to make sure you get right. And Mugello is a very fast and flowing circuit. It's one of those ones, you mess one corner up, you'll mess the next one, so be very careful in how you tackle Mugello. It will take time and it will take patience, but you have to trust in yourself and consult the guide if you do need so. But coming out of Arrabbiata 2 and now braking very early for Scarpa. I'm going to keep it in as much as I possibly can, get the change of direction, a little bit of brake there at the last second. It's sort of braking on an angle, it can be a little bit difficult to do, but not aggressively, nice and calm on the brakes, and we should be alright. So as we go into the tighter part of Correntaio, run it in a little bit deeper and then bring it in even tighter. You should see the ghost pop up sooner or later as we now go into Biondetti 1. A little bit early once again, but it's quite alright because we were very calm upon the exit of Biondetti 2 as we now brake nice and early for the final corner. A bit too early if I'm truly honest with you, as we did downshift a bit too much as well. But coming out of the final corner of Bacchini, we're going to bring on the acceleration, try and avoid the rumble strips this time around, and get across the line to get another gold lap time. So guys, thank you very much for watching the video. I really do hope this video has helped. If it has, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try and get on with the next one so I can get you more guides for MotoGP 22. But upon that note guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Like, comment and subscribe, and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there.
Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.